important folk customs in the rural area of North China. The folks express the symbol of life and feeling and create a special cultural space of the ceremonies with paper cutting. In the rural area of North Shanxi province, the wedding ceremony still inherits the tradition to decorate the bridal chamber of spring and happiness. The colorful paper-cutting narrow flags and the life tree in the funeral ceremony means the eternal spirit and life, and the golden mountain, paper servants, fairy crane, and god made with paper cutting imply the immortal wishes to the dead. The mountain village of Yanchuan, Shanxi province, still maintains the customs of avocation by paper cutting. The process of avocation and removing disease is completed with the sacrifice and burning of the paper-cutting hand-in-hand doll, which is a stand-in of the magic of the witchcraft. The Miao Wizard's paper-cutting works is named 12 Brothers and 12 Sisters, which will be hung in the tree of the patient with a bamboo strip to get rid of the evils. The original of the paper-cutting to avocation can be dated back to 5,000 years ago. The hand-in-hand Wudao doll for avocation and exorcising evils at funeral customs printed on province, we can still find the traditional family blacksmith workshop, and the blacksmiths have kept on making scissors for countryside women to make paper cuttings. The daily life of women of rural areas started with learning how to cut paper cuttings, which is the folk culture initiation started from childhood. Dorman embroidery is the symbol to record the national marks and cultural information. The embroidery dress of Miao is a historical record, and the paper cutting record rich ancient Miao's culture, religion, and epics. From the representatives of the paper cutting, we can see clearly that their unique fate as a woman living in countryside and creation of paper cutting constructed a complete life miniature. The hardship of their lives have formed distinctive comparison with the splendid and elegant paper cutting they created. Ku Shulan, who is 83 years old, is one of the folk paper cutting masters crowned by the UNESCO. Ku created an art space combining the god and the human with color paper cutting, which is genius creation, as well as the hope of simple passionate world. 80-year-old Gao Jin Ai from Ansai of North Shanxi is one of the folk paper cutting masters applying for the title from UNESCO. Her paper cutting is rough, childlike, and frank, embody the profound understanding to the tradition and the maximized exertion of personality. Guo Peizhen, who is a well-known folk paper cutter and lives in Jia County, Shanxi, is also a candidate for the title of UNESCO Master. She is much better at depicting her life by using large pieces of papers. Gao Fenglian of Yanchuan in Shanxi province has prestige among villagers. The Qing Han culture tradition and rich local folk culture exerted great influence on her works. Her works full of life are a world of harmonious chaos consisting of humans, animals, and plants. 4-year-old woman Wang Anli, a well-known Miao paper cutter and embroidery designer, is a typical example among Miao women. Like their counterparts in the villages in the valley of the Huanghe River, Miao women pass down their own ethnic traditions through their paper cuts and the stories told in them. Pan Taojiu, an 84-year-old woman who lives in the Taijiang County in Guizhou province, is another paper cutting and embroidery master. She stresses the sentimental stories told in her designs that are rich in shapes and subtleties. 50-year-old Liu Mei Sha, who lives in Shidong village, is good at telling stories in her paper cuts. Her paper cuts sells best in her hometown because of their wide variety, detailed stories, and different ways of representation of the same stories. The 21st century China sees a rapid transition from an agricultural cultivation society to a modern industrial society. As the transition becomes a strategic goal and an irreversible trend in China, the intangible cultural heritage is confronted with the possibility of sudden disappearance and unexpected change almost overnight. Many outstanding folk artists have disappeared in the prevailing modernization, together with their skillful talents. One of the best paper cutters have passed away just 1 month before we visited her family during the Spring Festival of 2003. She was Chan Zhenfang, extremely skilled at traditional paper cutting, and her works were characterized by miraculous and confident creation. Pan Changwan, another master paper cutter who lived in the Ansai area, passed away 5 days after we met her. We would never forget the scene in which she taught her granddaughters to cut papers with scissors.